Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Talking with a Dad. Tonight we have a pretty juicy episode here, talking a little bit of finance coming from the Disney side of things here. Steve, lay this out for us. Lay this out for us here. What's going on?
So we're a week late to this party, but I needed some time to really try to understand what's going on here. I've been reading through the trades, and I got to be honest with you, I can't make sense of it. So I'm just going to give you some numbers, and then we'll go back and forth, and then hopefully our latest sponsor, Disney, won't dump us after blowing the stack off of this, figuring it out.
Fuck you,
folks,
Disney.
Put your tinfoil caps on. So Disney just received the $6 billion credit line.
Okay.
For SEC filing. So, are you ready to get into speculation, Zach? We were doing a little bit of this before, but we decided
$6 billion. Got it.
$6 billion.
Which would, let me see, I can throw some numbers out here. Effectively double their, so it's a credit line. It's not really doubling their cash on hand, but it would effectively double their cash on hand if they were to utilize all $5 or $6 billion. I see $5 billion. This coming from Yahoo Finance. This is actually the one trusted part of Yahoo left.
Yes. So what we're trying to figure out here is what we were discussing, and you know what, we don't pretend to know everything, but 98% is a pretty good damn number, and we know 98% of the stuff going on.
That's a good point. 98 and a half some days.
90. Yeah, there you go. A flaccid 98, some might say, but sometimes a firm one. What I'm trying to figure out here is, what is this money for exactly?
Yeah.
Now, some people have speculated that this was supposed to stay off some type of preventative takeover from outside entities or shareholders dumping off their stocks. We know that the former chairman was Igar,
Bob Iger,
Bob Iger has stepped back into some type of advisory role. A lot of people think that's just to protect his legacy, which I already think is signed, sealed, delivered. It's not his fault. COVID-19. I mean, Voldemort came in. The pandemic came in and ruined everything. So, what's this money for, Zach? What do you think?
So this is what I'm trying to figure out. I don't know, because you said that there's speculation that Apple could be purchasing them, but Apple hasn't made a significant purchase. They bought Intel's smartphone modem for a cool $1 billion.
I was gonna say 20.
No, $1 billion even.
No, $29.95.
Yeah, okay, $29.95. And before that, they hadn't been a real significant purchase for 6 years since they bought Beats.
All right. So the thing about the Apple purchase, what's going on? So when the pandemic first kicked off and Disney's stock took a nosedive, a lot of analysts started looking at it and saying that if anyone's going to come in at the rate that their shares are dropping, and anyone that's still strong in their own shares, it would be Apple. Apple has never officially said themselves that they were interested in buying Disney. So that's where the speculation started. Then a lot of people thought this money could be to prevent something like that happening. I don't think $6 billion is a strong enough number to keep anyone from coming in and buying it.
Definitely not Apple, right? Yeah. Apple reportedly has $200 and change billion cash on hand. So
that's it.
Hold on, Disney as a company is only valued at $150 billion. They could purchase Disney flat out at market price,
right,
and still have money left over.
Yeah, and still be in the hole for that purchase. Now, some people are saying that Disney finds himself in this precarious situation because of the Fox acquisition, which they purchased for $70 billion. Other things, I don't know. I can't make heads or tail of this. But as an MCU fan, I can tell you what this does mean for nerds, in my humble opinion. You want to know what that means for nerds, Zach?
What does it mean?
It means once the schedule is back on slate, we're probably going to get an Avengers 5 movie a lot sooner than a lot of people are thinking. Because it's their most profitable title. Like their movie department makes more money than any other thing, even their merchandise. I was really surprised to find this out.
That's fair.
But
does that include Marvel merch? Or does Marvel merch fall under movie? Because then it's unfair, right? Because if we're talking about Mickey Mouse merch, right?
Man.
That's not gonna draw you $1 billion a month. But the Marvel merch at this point would. Right.
I think the Marvel merch is separate from the actual, and then I'm willing to be corrected. The only reason I think it's separate from the actual movie profits, because I know their arrangement with what is that company, Sony, in regards to Spider-Man. So Sony gets the bulk, the lion's share of everything the movie makes, and Marvel gets all of the merchandising and some weird backhand on the tickets and stuff. So I don't know what to make of this. this is a weird situation for Disney to find themselves in, especially since they were on top of the world. What was it, like less than 2 months ago?
Yeah. They seem like so here's the issue with this, right? And there's such a volatile medium in media, right? If people stop watching Fox,
why'd you struggle to say that?
Well, because I said medium and media back to back. I needed to differentiate a little bit. We have two very similar words. If people stop watching Fox, well, actually, no, Fox News isn't included with that. Sorry.
Yes.
I was gonna say if people stop watching Fox, they can't sell ads. But see, here's the all right. Let's get back to the basis of this, because I really don't care about this conversation much. The fact that they're getting
hold on for a second. I held that. That was a genuine laugh. I held that.
Listen, I walked myself into a corner, had to get myself out of it. All right. Apple's not going to buy Disney. It's not a smart move, right? Apple would be better buying Sony, I believe, because they wanted to get into that grade of consumer products and game consoles for the longest time. But here, $5 billion injected hypothetically into the Walt Disney Company, right? At a time when they just furloughed 100,000 employees, half of their workforce, right? Admittedly, they have paid their workforce wages for 5 weeks now. Everyone in the company, which is generous, right? They could have easily said, everyone who works at the parks, good luck. It's 100,000 employees almost right there. I actually think it is literally 100,000 employees. But they paid that, so that's nice. They furloughed them starting yesterday, I believe.
Oh, wow.
But here's the issue. Disney has cash flow. Yep. They have 50 million Disney Plus subscriptions.
Yeah.
And that was...
And the Hulu subscriptions.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. True. There you go. But in February, the company gained 28.6 million subscribers. So, okay, they were at 22 million beforehand, and they injected another 28 in the month of February. And now it's February, March, April, soon to be May,
right,
at $800 million a month. They're not paying their employees that much. Let's be fair, right? They are not paying, like, what is their cost besides that? Park rent? Their park rent's not that much. There's just no way. There is no way the park rent is that much.
Go ahead. Let me see.
I don't know if you can find. I don't know if you can find. You're not going to be able to find contracts. You know, really, what they do, they actually probably don't pay that much in rent, because what is Disney is in Anaheim, right, in California. Yeah. They probably have a 100-year deal at $1 a month or something, because it brings in so much tourism for the city and in the greater Anaheim area that they don't need to tax or get rent or whatever from Disney, because they bring in so many hotels and, well, I guess they have their own hotels for the most part, but hotels and restaurants and tourism, right? All of the plane tickets to fly in to go to Disney in California, they're making so much money off of tourism that they don't need to charge Disney any rent, right? They're just going to be there. I don't understand where Disney is coming from that they need $5 billion. I'd like to see the books, right? Obviously, we're not going to see them, but I'm curious on how much money they're potentially, or they say that they're losing a month to need a $5 billion credit line.
Okay. So wait. It looks like here, you know, Disney and other companies has been amassing a war chest to see it through the pandemic, which has hit the divisions hard, from theme parks to production to live sports and advertising. Okay, so that the agreement gives it a hefty extra $11 billion in fresh cash, raising so much cash because it's particularly exposed to the carnage of COVID pandemic, and because it can, as one entertainment industry's largest and most credit worth companies. So I guess it's just a little something extra in the bank, you know, see them through these tough times. What do you think a tough time looks like for a Disney
exec? Yeah. He didn't get a second line of Coke that day. That's what I feel like. You're missing bump number 3. You're panicking at the Disney headquarters, right?
I'm telling you.
I feel like this part of the, what do they call it? The Paycheck protection something, the PPE or the PPL or the triple P, whatever it is, from the government that put out all the money they put out to they gather from the banks and from different credit lines or credit unions to have small businesses get money so that they could go through the hard times here? Is this where this money is coming from? Because that would be disgusting if it is.
I guess
it is an SEC filing, right? So that's a government agency of filing. So if it's through that, then that's absolutely ridiculous. Similar vein, Shake Shack received $10 million, right?
Ooh.
But that money is meant for companies that have 500 or less employees. So Shake Shack gave the money back. They have 8,000 employees, and most of the restaurants are still open.
Oh, yeah, they're gonna kill it. They would still do very well in deliveries and stuff like that.
Right, Shake Shack is good. Shake Shack's the number 3 burger for me, I think.
I'm gonna have to go ahead. I can't disagree with your opinion. That's your number 3. That's your number 3. I am always pleasantly surprised and then utterly disappointed once I get my burger. Like the smell of a Shake Shack gets me going. When I get that tiny burger, I just get angry.
Hold on. Let me be fair. The only time I have had Shake Shack is sitting in Citi Field, right, watching the Mets play. I was on the field and it got hand delivered to me.
Okay.
To be fair, that's why Shake Shack is number 3. It's under Five Guys in In-N-Out.
Listen, so that one and the one that's in Grand Central, more than likely a rat, not a real piece of cow. Where that burger came from.
Oh, that's fine with me. That's fine with me.
It was the most delicious rat. Hey, have you ever heard of a place called Gray's Papaya?
No.
When you get a chance, look it up. Gray's Papaya was the most delicious hot dog that I'm sure was made out of humans ever sold in the great city of New York. WB finds themselves in WB being Warner Brothers. Themselves in an interesting situation. They had a slate for a bunch of movies to come out pretty soon here. So we were
next year, right?
Yeah, so we're looking at the most current one coming up was Wonder Woman 1984, and then I don't know what point in production it's at now. Mantis, if you know, I'm sure you'll let us know. Shazam 2, and then Ezra Miller, who just chokeslammed a fan of his somewhere in Europe, was also. Did you see this?
No, but that sounds cool.
Oh,
if you have a video, I would watch it 100%.
So that the Flash is being delayed, but it's only in pre-production. Just finally got it.
The next Shazam has The Rock in it, right?
No, that you're thinking of Black Adam, the villain.
That's the villain of Shazam.
Yeah, but he's gonna have his own standalone movie.
Oh, okay. So hold on, is DC finally doing the thing that they should have done? Is not try to play catch up to Marvel, but start here and build their story arcs the way that Marvel did 10 years ago or whatever it was?
Yes and no, right? So they still can't make. If you're to believe every rumor that comes out, DC is just kind of still doing the same thing because they're in a weird position, right? Their billion-dollar properties are very obscure ones, right? So the Joker is a billion-dollar property. Wonder Woman's a billion. Very, very obscure because it's not connected to the rest. Yes, not connected to the rest of the DC extended universe. Also, they had the dud, which is the Justice League. So to answer your question, it seems like they're starting to get on the right track. They need someone to kind of guide and direct them, which is what people thought James Gunn. Yeah,
I'll do it.
They thought James Gunn, the guy who directed and wrote the first 2 Guardians of the Galaxy movies, he got kicked out of Disney because he said something about a kid once upon a time on Twitter, and the world turned on him. So the first thing he did was...
that guy. Okay, cool.
Yeah. So to answer your question, yes and no. They're starting to head that way, and they're starting to do their own thing. I think the guy that had it correct, how WB Warner Brothers should handle this is not try to compete with Marvel at all at this point. Like that ship is set. Just focus on making quality movies, right?
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
So
everything's delayed.
What about they got delayed? Movies coming out next year. They got delayed. They don't think they're going to have enough time for production and post production to hit their deadlines next year. This is coming on the news that actually there are quite a few states now who plan on, mainly Georgia, in 1 week from today is actually going to be opening theaters.
Really?
Yeah. 24th, they are going to be opening barbershops and salons and I believe not restaurants. Theaters and restaurants will be opening up a week from today on the 27th. So Georgia's starting to open up stuff. Georgia's like the 5th or 6th hardest hit state, which is very interesting. I think we're still about 2 months out from when we start opening up to normalcy here in New York, which is the hardest hit country in the world.
You just call New York a country.
Well, we are. We have more cases and deaths, I believe, than any country in the world in just our state.
How How you feeling about the way Cuomo's handling the whole thing? I've been meaning to ask.
That's a whole different episode. We should get into that on the podcast, maybe. and save politics for a different episode. So Warner Brothers delayed. Fuck you, Disney. Anything else to end this, Stevie?
I'm trying to think of anything. I did have barbecue chicken wings tonight, and they were delicious.
Sounds good.
What'd you have for dinner?
Leftovers from yesterday. We had a clam bake yesterday.
What?
Yeah, full clam bake. Lobster, crab legs, clams, mussels, corn, potatoes.
I knew you were wealthy, but I didn't know you were that wealthy. You're just like, throw caution to the wind. Get those poor people, tell them to bring my seafood right
there
to
was
the table.
Ribs and steaks and burgers and hot dogs. And it was a good time. It was a good time.
That's all we got for you tonight, folks.
That's it.
Clam bake. Did you save any food?
There's actually, you want crab legs?
Drop it off at the mailbox.
Yeah, I got you. Don't worry about it. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share it to your favorite people. Good podcast coming up this week. We're excited for it already. It's a Monday. We don't usually talk about the podcast until Thursday night. And we'll see you soon.